Okay, it looks like we're live. Welcome everyone to this session of the uh, PSSM book club meeting today, where we're discussing Bringers of the Dawn. Um, Today, it looks like we're going to have time to go over chapter 4. That's the plan. But I think the first thing we'll do is have a short meditation. So, how about if we all sit in a meditation posture? Be comfortable with your feet crossed and your hands clasped, and relax. And as you relax, notice your breath, just the natural breath that goes in and out without any effort on your part. If you have some thoughts, you can let them go to the best of your ability. And by letting our thoughts go, we transcend the mind. Become aware of any frequency, any energy that's living within you. With awareness, find it the energy of the heart chakra. Find the energy of love. This energy is part of the essence of being. We'll take just 30 more seconds. Okay, dear friends, when you are ready, rub your palms together and place them over your eyes for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then open your eyes and look at your palms. Okay. Well, that was a great meditation. I felt very peaceful and calm, and it's really great to meditate with others because I feel your energies, my dear friends. So it's really, really nice. I meditated a little bit earlier today by myself, and it's nice to meditate with others.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
um, Jaya,
Yes.
let me turn it over to you for a little bit, and if you want to
Yeah.
comment on something or give us a summary,
Yeah. We
good
finished
time.
until chapter three. We finished chapter three last week, and we'll
Yeah.
go through chapter four this week. And I have a brief summary of chapter three. The chapter three talks about who your gods are. Um, yeah, the key points in this chapter are like creator gods and human DNA manipulations. Pleiadians say that the creator gods engineered human DNA and reducing its capacities to maintain control over humanity. Originally, humans were designed with 12 strands of DNA, but these were limited to 2 strands to restrict spiritual and intellectual potential. And Pleiadians also say that gods are some of the gods are manipulators, and not all gods are benevolent. And they suggest that the humanity is at a pivotal moment where the dormant potential within the DNA is ready to be activated. By embracing self-awareness and spiritual growth, humans can transcend the influence of these beings and align with their higher self or higher purpose. Yeah, the chapter also in this chapter, Pleiadians say that the calls for a re-examination of historical and religious narratives using individuals to urging the individuals to seek truth and inner empowerment rather than external worship. So chapter 4 we can cover now this week, and it talks about the memories in the free will zone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, thanks for that summary.
Yeah.
It does remind me. I'll just give you my thoughts on the summary. Um, we as humans, we have a tendency to want to have someone help us to decide what to do. And this is something I think the Pleiadians are saying, is that we are very quick to want to give away our power. And if we have a reason to do so, we'll do it.
Mhm.
And we need to be careful because the Pleiadians are reminding us that we are powerful spiritual beings and that everything is a part of Prime Creator. And so we're also a part of Prime Creator. And so when Patriji says you are gods, he means it literally. Um, and so I think that's one of the things that they're trying to remind us about
Mhm.
is that we need to be careful about giving our power away because not all of these beings who we see as great necessarily have our best interests. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of the message I got out of the book so far.
Mhm.
Would you say that's about right?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, let's go into chapter 4.
Mhm.
As usual, what I like to do with this book is very difficult to summarize because there are so many what I think are key points, and they're not just all super related to each other. And so, my tendency is to read verbatim out of the book what I think are key points. And then when I feel like it, I will say something about it. I will sometimes say what I feel like my intuition is telling me that it means. And it's just points for discussion if people want to discuss. Um, when I read the book, I sometimes just get like a feeling of intuition that, hey, that's an interesting statement. What does it mean? What are they trying to tell us? Because sometimes you don't know literally what it means. So there's a lot to go through here. So let me start by reading chapter 4. Not just parts. I'm not reading the whole chapter, but I'm reading sentences and paragraphs here and there through the chapter. So it starts off by saying, once upon a time, there were beings who wanted to create something. In order to do this, they needed to go in and very subtly change a part of creation. These beings worked for, were associated with, and carefully guarded an aspect of consciousness called light. Part of the plan involved being ready for a cosmic jolt that they anticipated would eventually be coming from Prime Creator. It was the intention of these guardians of light to take light or knowledge into a reality where that light was not welcomed and did not fit. Okay. So the guardians of light are bringing light to darkness. That's what they want to do. That's my saying. Back to the book. What is the book saying? The book says these beings had a plan to prepare for the time when that light would fit. These beings are you, and the time is now. All right. This is what the Pleiadians are saying. We are these guardians of light, and we are bringing this light now because now is the time when it's going to fit. Okay. I think that's amazing. That's a really amazing statement. So back to the book. The Pleiadians say, your action springs from this moment. All you need to do is begin to allow this energy to come into your body. You must begin to vibrate with this energy and to clear the passages of the self, the emotional energies that hold themselves locked in your physical body. So this is a really interesting statement, I think. They say all we need to do is to allow this energy to come into the body. Now, my thought on this is that there's cosmic energy all around, and it would like to come into people's bodies as long as we don't block it. And this is the light that they're talking about. And
Mhm.
this light, as it comes into the body, gets concentrated and it builds up. And it we can do with it what we choose to do with it. That's what I'm seeing here. Now, there's a lot of people who don't care about the light, who are not even aware of it. And apparently, now this is me talking under the frequency of control and doing just things that aren't necessarily in their own interest. And they're just unaware of the light. They don't know it's around. They're not even sure that they have this option or this choice. So I think that's what we're saying up to now. So I'll go into reading some more. The Pleiadians say, as guardians of light, you are going to create options of reality and bring them to the mass consciousness of the planet. You will do this by first doing it for yourself, creating an inner peace and inner love by accepting who you are and all that you have done in life and all that has been done to you in life. This is not easy. They're talking about accepting, okay? Acceptance. Um, you do this by creating an inner peace and an inner love. Well, here's what I think about that. Everyone naturally has an inner peace and an inner love because it's who we are, it's part of our being. Now, whether or not there's an awareness of that is another story. There may be many people who aren't aware that they have an inner peace and an inner love and that it's always present and it's who they are. But I think the Pleiadians are saying that we need to remember that. The chapter title is called Memories in the Free Will Zone. And I believe they're telling us we got to remember we are that peace, we are that love. And we just remember that by accepting who are we, what have we done, and what has been done to us. Part of acceptance is forgiving. If someone did something to you that you're upset about, ultimately the only way to move forward is to forgive. So acceptance and forgiveness go together. Now, these are my thoughts on what the Pleiadians have said. So it's my interpretation. Um, Let me continue reading what they say. The Pleiadians say, when you are able to accept behavior that was not uplifting behavior and accept your own identity of sexuality and accept how you valued or did not value life in many lifetimes, it will open a chakra center in your body that is located around the thymus gland between the fourth and the fifth chakras. So the fourth chakra is heart chakra, fifth chakra is throat chakra. And so the thymus gland is, if I recall, it's just above the heart, I think, on the left side, behind the sternum bone. I'm pretty sure it's right there. But basically, they're saying we have to accept behavior that wasn't uplifting. We have to accept who we are, including things that people don't like to talk about, like sexuality. We have to accept it. We have to accept how we valued and or didn't value our life, our current life, and even former lifetimes. And when we do that, a chakra center opens. Now, I'm only, for me personally, my knowledge goes with the seven chakra centers, and I don't know about other chakra centers. I'm sure there are others, but I just don't know about them. So I can't comment too much on it other than to say I know that the thymus gland is powerful and that it helps to regulate emotions. So I'm not too surprised that they said that a chakra center could open at a location that's near the thymus gland. For me, this makes sense. I don't question it. I don't know about you, Jaya, but I don't question this. What do you think about this chakra center, Jaya? This is this thing I don't know about.
Yeah, what you said is right uh, to me. Like it looks like that's how I also interpret it, James.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. That's
Yeah.
good to know. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. Okay. So to read more, the Pleiadians say it is through here, this chakra center at the thymus, that eventually the nervous system will open and information will flow. And through here, that you will begin to regenerate the body and move into unconditional love.
Mhm.
That's amazing. Through here. So, anyone who's ever sat in meditation and has felt the transformation of going beyond mind understands this. You cannot know unconditional love through the mind. It's through the heart. And it's at that chakra center where you can really feel it. So, really important information here. Um, to go on, the Pleiadians say there are some pretty chaotic tunes being played now upon this planet, and there is a purpose to all of them. The purpose is to strengthen the self so that the self can become completely informed about reality. So, even in chaos, there's a reason for it. The original plan was for Earth to be an exchange center of information for all the different galactic systems. And the original planners have not given up on this plan. They were members of the family of light, and some of you have been very intimate with these original planners. Feel that for a moment. We are very connected to the original planners. The Pleiadians say we want to awaken your memories. We want you to begin to understand the magnitude of what is occurring to your species on this planet so that you can operate with comfort, knowledge, and knowing. The original planners are quite capable of plotting different courses and different realities. Interesting. So if we don't like something, maybe we can change it. I think that's what that says. Makes sense. So they say, the Pleiadians say, as we have mentioned, in a free will universe, all is allowed by Prime Creator. And therefore, since time does not exist as you know it outside of your local sector, things are left to work themselves out. So they've made this point before that
Mhm.
time around the planet Earth tends to flow faster and apparently a lot faster than time in other parts of the universe. And so, you know, that's interesting. Things can work themselves out in time. I think we all can relate to that. To go on, the Pleiadians say light gives information and darkness withholds information. So, in the times that are coming, it will be easy for you to discern who's who and what's what as you travel outside the third dimensional realm. All you need to do is discern whether something is light and you are being given information, or whether it's darkness and you are being disinformed, misinformed, or information is completely withheld from you. Does anyone know how to discern this? Um, the way I discern this is to feel it. When I'm aware of things, and I want to know, is this true or not? I feel it. And there's a knowing state behind the feeling that can confirm for you if something is true or not. And I believe that's what the Pleiadians are saying here, that we need to be discerning, and we can discern it through our intuition, which is knowing through the heart and not the mind. The Pleiadians say that darkness and light have come from the same creator, prime creator, who has created a host of creator gods to go out and do its bidding. You are all needed to access the portion of memory that is part of the creator gods. Who are these gods? Who are the gods that fought with these gods? And who are some of the gods who came here and controlled you? Part of your task is to access your memory. When these beings return to Earth, there will be many of you who will turn to them and say, yes, these are wonderful gods. I feel wonderful about them. They are so magnificent. Look what they can do. Some of these gods will seem to fix and save your world. And this is where it will be easy to miss the bigger picture. It will look as if they are coming to fix and save your world, when in actuality, what they're doing is simply creating another form of authority and control. What we are saying is that people will put a belief system and a paradigm on these entities. There will be a large marketing program to sell the presence of these entities to you. This program is already going on. So you want to think about that for a moment. When you get information coming to you, you want to think, what's the motivation behind it? There's always a motivation. There's always an angle to it, especially when you think about advertising, right? There's advertising everywhere, and we all know the motivation behind that. They want to get us to buy a product. Well, there's other types of advertising where they don't want you to buy something, but they want you to buy into something with your belief. And that's what we're talking about here. So be careful where you put your belief systems. Okay, so the Pleiadians say, you are not like the masses on earth, for you are members of the family of light, and you know things that others do not know. You may know that these things are not of light, and you may know it to the core of your being. You may become sickened in a society that does not know this. Many people will turn to worshiping these beings because it will seem as if miracles are occurring and the grandest event in the history of the world is taking place. It may seem that humanity is being given a whole new opportunity, a whole new golden era. And then there will be a very big surprise, and people will find that the tyrannies are larger than ever before. So, this is a prediction being made by the Pleiadians about what could happen. Not that it necessarily will happen, but they talk about probabilities. The events in the future are considered by probabilities. Now, I think they bring this up because there's a good probability that this could occur. And you want to remember that one of the things they said prior in the book is that they are from our future.
Mhm.
So they are connected to us directly on a timeline, and they want to put a message into the past at what they call a kernel or a seed point, which is a very important time point on the timeline to try and save us from going down the wrong path. Okay, that's the intent here. And that's why they're saying the things that they're saying. So when you remember that, all this, I think, makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. We're going back to the Pleiadians. The Pleiadians are saying, you are all learning about authority. Who is the boss for the beings who are here now? Who is their God? Who is their authority? Now, who are they referring to? I think they're referring to the people who have a lot of power, people who exercise power on this planet, politicians, leaders of countries, leaders of big businesses and industries. Um, I think that's who they're referring to. So we want to think, who do these people think God is, and who do they look up to? That's interesting. Who is their authority? That authority is coming back to Earth, say the Pleiadians. There is a lesson in this for Earth. These beings who are neither spiritually informed nor lean in spiritual ways deny the existence of a spiritual force. They have developed scientific principles and technologies that scatter the laws of spirituality. That's an interesting statement. What might they be referring to? They have developed scientific principles and technologies that scatter the laws of spirituality. For me, I think this is an easy one to answer. I think we're all distracted by technology. We're all distracted by our phones. And being distracted is, I believe, what they mean by scattering the laws of spirituality. If you can be distracted, well, there you have it, you know? So, uh, interesting observation. And remember, this was 30 years ago, right?
Mhm.
But I don't think the Pleiadians are trapped by time. I think they know very well because apparently they've gone through this history. So they understand the time that we have now and 30 years ago. Okay, back to what the Pleiadians are saying in the book. Wanting to have something to worship is the frequency control on Earth. This is an astounding statement. Wanting to have something to worship is the frequency control on Earth. Wow. Just sit with that for a minute and see how it strikes you. What the planet is headed for is someone or something new to worship. So, so they're saying that someday, probably not too distant in the future, we're going to see another God come to the earth and express itself. And maybe this one won't have the best intentions, possibly. This is the message they're sending to us as a warning. Okay. Not to frighten anybody, but I think their intention here is that we make good choices so that our future will be a good future. Let me continue to read. The Pleiadians say that is the potential holographic insert, a new god to worship. Holographic insert. This is an interesting phrase, a holographic insert. What's a holographic insert? It's inserting something into reality that's not exactly a part of reality, but mimics reality. It looks like reality, it feels like reality, it seems like reality, but it's even more of an illusion than what we already experience every day. It's an illusion of an illusion, is my idea of what this holographic insert is. Okay. So keep that in mind. These apparently these gods have abilities to uh, influence people using holograms. Now, for anybody who doesn't really know what this means or what we're talking about, I will reference you to another book if you happen to have read it. It's called The Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East by a man named Spalding. And he wrote this book in the 1890s. He spent some time in India and the Himalayan regions. And he says it's a first person account. It's his basically autobiography. But he meets people who he calls masters, and they can do things that normal people can't do. So they're almost like gods in a sense. And one of the things that he talks about in his book is that they have the ability to put holographic inserts into reality. And they don't do it to cause mischief or harm to anyone. They do it to protect themselves. And so, if you're interested in expanding on this idea of what a holographic insert is, I would say read this book, The Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East. It's explained in detail. And if you like Bringers of the Dawn, you'll love that book. So, let me go on here. What are the Pleiadians saying? The Pleiadians say, the creator gods, the reptiles, know that their plan has run short, so to speak, and there is an intention of creating a new plan, a new diversion, a new disempowerment. And therefore, beyond anything else, listen to yourselves. They're turning you back to your own intuition. Listen to the internal message that comes through to you and begin to dance with it and make friends with it. You yourselves are meant to discover reality from inside and to direct your life in this way. This is really the gift that is given in the free will zone, that we discover our own reality from inside. And we want to remember that. And so when we see amazing things going on outside, we want to come back to our intuition for guidance. That's what they're saying. Okay, what else do they say? The Pleiadians say it is a free will choice to create having someone else create reality for you. Right? Some people just aren't interested. This is me talking. They want to be told what to do. They want to be told what's right, what's wrong, what they should do with their lives. They don't know they have this choice to look within. And so the Pleiadians are saying, hey, this is a free will choice to create, having someone else create reality for you. It's your choice. If you want to let somebody else tell you what to do, well, that's your, that's your choice. Most people on Earth allow others to create and dictate their reality to them. Through frequency control, you've been steered to look outside of yourself for answers. Those who control frequency in this way are lost in the same thing, and you are their mirror. So even the controllers are lost. They themselves are lost in the mess. Okay, and we're a mirror for 'em. So that's very interesting. The Pleiadians go on to say, in the same way that we pull energy from other systems, and now when they say we, they mean themselves. Okay. So this is the Pleiadians, quote unquote. In the same way that we, the Pleiadians, pull energy from other systems into your system, you send energy to other systems and affect them, and you don't know it. We want you to realize your impact and the power you have to affect systems. You don't even know how powerful you are. And that is why you could be dangerous, right? We are all gods. We all have power. And the creator gods would like to control that power for their own use and their own benefit, right? The Pleiadians are saying, you have taken on an incredible amount of this mutating energy. And what are you going to do with it? How are you going to direct this energy? Do you love yourself? That's literally the next sentence. That is amazing because they're telling us probably a very useful thing that we could be doing with all this energy that we're forgetting about. Do you love yourself? And you want to think about that. How do I love myself? Do I remember about loving myself? Do I remember that I am love? Once we remember who we truly are, then it becomes easy to make the right choice. It becomes easy to not be misled, right? So I think that is one of the absolute key points in this book, and it's super important. Do you love yourself? And I think there's a lot of people, in my own experience from interacting with others, I think there's a lot of people that don't even know that this is a choice, that they really should be choosing to love themselves. And it's not selfish behavior when it's seen in the right light, but it's true and correct behavior when it's done correctly and seen in the right light. Um, so this is a point for maybe for meditation and for contemplation, just to take this one question with you out of the chapter. I would say this is one of the most important statements in the whole chapter. And if you're going to take anything with you, take this question with you for contemplation or meditation, and just sit with it. Do you love yourself? Okay, back to the Pleiadians. The Pleiadians say the original planners are after much more than this particular zone here. They are after a shift in the universal DNA. They want the entire universe to orchestrate a new symphony in consciousness. They are not only after the reestablishment of frequency availability on Earth, their game is much bigger. They are after a restructuring of the vibratory rate of the entire universe. Okay. So while they're concerned about Earth, they're also concerned about a much bigger picture. So apparently, the problems we have on Earth are common in other parts of the universe. So that's maybe good to know. We're not the only ones with this problem. Um, the Pleiadians say Prime Creator has turned its energy toward this free will zone because from a vast point in your future, it has been shown where this experiment will go if left unchecked and unattended. Energy could simply run rampant and own other energy. There is a vast probability that reaches out for hundreds and thousands of years of a dictatorship in this universal system, in this universe. From a place far into the future, this experiment is being reworked. Its essential energy is being transmuted and transformed. You are a part of that transformation by going into the bowels of the system in various disguises and becoming awakened. So, you see, it's really important for people to awaken spiritually if we're going to have a chance on this earth to bring heaven to earth. Um, that's why I see is one of the purposes of a spiritual awakening or enlightenment. It's to bring what people have in mind. What is heaven? Well, heaven is a place where there's no problems, right? I don't have any problems. Okay, if you want this place where there's no problems, you can have it right here, right now. You don't have to go anywhere. You can bring this heaven to earth through your own spiritual awakening. And when you do that, all of a sudden, you have this power now, and no one can take it away from you. Even a creator God who comes to earth is not going to be able to take it away from you. So they are saying that we all need to wake up because if we don't wake up, something not so good may happen. We may not have heaven on earth. We may go through this massive tyranny. And they say in this paragraph, Even Prime Creator is now concerned about it and has turned its energy here to look to see, is this the path that makes sense? Even though this is a free will zone, right? I assume Prime Creator doesn't want to interfere in a free will zone, but they're saying that Prime Creator has turned its energy this way. Maybe there's some concern about it, it sounds like. So, to go back to the book, the Pleiadians are saying the human portion of you has delineated who is a good guy and who is a bad guy, and who is who in the space hierarchy. There have been tremendous amounts of literature on this subject, and you have bought it all. Smash all of those ideas. Smash every one of them, including who you think we are. So, this is an interesting paragraph. They are saying that we have used judgment to decide who is good and who is bad. And they're saying this isn't going to get us anywhere. And we need to smash all these ideas about what we have judged. And my own interpretation on this is judging anything to be good or bad is exceptionally difficult. And it's so easy to be wrong because in order to judge perfectly, you would have to know everything perfectly. And the mind can't know everything perfectly. So being a judge of something is hard work, and you're very likely to get it wrong. And so I agree with this statement. Smash all of these ideas, all of these judgments, who you've judged good, who you've judged bad. Just throw them in the trash can. I fully agree with this statement. Fully 100%. I believe it's the truth. Okay, back to what they say. The Pleiadians say, we have said to you that your lesson is authority, to become your own authority and to stop giving over your decision-making process to governmental people or parents or teachers or gods. It's time for the people of the earth to become sovereign. Humans are going to need to be tricked before they can become aware. You see? So this is interesting, and it's kind of like the wisdom that we get about spiritual awakening. Why do we go through such hard times? Why do we suffer so much? And the reason is because you gotta have so much suffering before you can even start to let go of the ego and even transcend the mind to find the truth. And so, this is a metaphor for suffering. Humans are going to need to be tricked before they can become aware. Seems to be the way things work, right? They say you will see masses of people walk toward a false god, and that is foolishness. You are beginning to feel what may be coming. It is an awesome task to carry light. Once you put it in your body, there is no stopping it. There's no saying, I quit the light team. I won't be recognized as a member of the family of light. Some of you may want to do this sometimes, but once light is there, that's it. And my idea on this statement is once you're spiritually awakened, once you're have spiritual enlightenment, there's no going back. You can't you can't say, "Oh, I wish I was ignorant again." It's just not a thing. And so once you're enlightened, you always have the light and it's always in you and you're always able to give it to others. And so once you're on this light team, there's no going to the dark team. You wouldn't even want to go to the dark team because you're not dark, you're light. How could you go to the dark team once you are the light, you know? So I think there's lots and lots of really good nuggets of wisdom here. that tends to be presented in a way that we don't normally see it presented. Okay, so going back to the Pleiadians, they say, how is your acquiescence to the government and media and the way you are used different from a cow who is mutilated? Think about that. The idea of a cow. Some people, what do they do with cows? They see it as an object, right? They see a cow as food. They don't see it as a being. They don't see it as a sentient being. They don't see it as a higher being. Of course, wisdom would tell you that a cow is a higher being. A cow is a sentient being, and it is a very amazing, beautiful being. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't see that. And so I like this comparison to the cow. How is your acquiescence to the forces of control any different from a cow who's mutilated? Same thing. Somebody's taking advantage of you, just like somebody takes advantage of a cow. It's it's tragic, you know? Um, so I think they're trying to wake us up to that point. The Pleiadians say the masses allow the leaders to do as they wish in their name because the masses do not rise up and say, hey, I do not approve of this. There is a complacency upon earth. The consciousness on this planet is, you do it for me. I don't want to be responsible. You become my government official. You become my teacher. You become my boss. Someone tell me what to do. And that's the habit they're telling us that we need to break. I fully agree with it. Okay, so they also speak about extraterrestrial beings, and the creator gods are part of this idea that there are extraterrestrial beings, and that we may have a visit from some of these creator gods in the near future. But they're not all the extraterrestrial beings that may visit Earth are creator gods, okay? Not all of them, by far, I think by any means. There's probably lots of extraterrestrial beings that could visit Earth that are not creator gods. Okay, so now to go back to what the Pleiadians are saying. They say that these extraterrestrials mirror this to you. And these are the ones who are interested in controlling us. They mirror this attitude of somebody just tell me what to do. I can't figure this out. There's too many choices. It's too hard. Just tell me what to do. Make this easy for me, right? And so there's extraterrestrial beings who will try and take advantage of this consciousness or this mindset that lots of people have. And they say that some people will worship them and think that they're absolutely powerful masters. And we are saying that these scenarios are going to prove true. There's a pending merging of human consciousness and extraterrestrial presence upon this planet. It is being marketed to you at a rapid rate. Now, I think that's interesting. There's a pending merging of human consciousness and extraterrestrial presence on this planet. So I don't know exactly what this means, but I do remember that they said that there's a portal in the Middle East and the extraterrestrials have come through, the reptiles have come through, and they tend to live underground over there, and they like to cause problems, and that's why there's wars over there. Um, so maybe they're talking about those extraterrestrials who are living underground on the planet. Now, honestly, I'm only repeating what I've read out of the book. I don't know how much of that is true or not because I have no experience with it. But if it's possible, then it's kind of interesting that there could be a merging of human consciousness and extraterrestrial presence. And what does that mean for our reality? Honestly, I don't know, but it's kind of an interesting idea. Okay. Um, the Pleiadians go on to say that you will become disgusted with society because you will not fit with the new gods and you will retreat. Do you understand that the new gods may be lizards? Do you think that's a little funny? Hold on to your seats because you have no idea what is coming. If we told you everything that was coming, you would have scattered a long time ago. Um, I like these ideas. I like to think about. I'm not saying I like the ideas, but I like to think about these possibilities. The Pleiadians bring up this idea. They say, remember the movie V that was shown on television a few years ago? Now, let's remember this book was written approximately 1992. So the movie V would have been shown in the late 1980s on TV. I'm old enough to remember that. I was a teenager and I saw those movies and they had a big impact on me. The aliens visited the earth and they were reptile beings and they had some very nefarious things. They wanted to take over humans. They wanted to control the planet. Um, and the Pleiadians are saying, "Hey, do you remember that movie V that was shown a few years ago? That movie gives you some idea of the cunning and conniving of certain entities who will come from space. And some people will worship them and think they're absolutely powerful masters." So, if you're curious about what reptile space aliens could look like and what they could do, look up these old movies. I think it's a series of movies, V. If you like those kinds of movies, I think you'll like I think you'll like it. I remember I really liked those movies at the time. I haven't thought about them since until I read the book here. Okay, so back to what the Pleiadians are saying. Oh, dear humans, you are in for an adventure, and only you can carry this adventure out. The non-physical realms continuously support you, and members of the family of light are around you and with you all the time. Yet it is up to you to master the laws that we share with you and to anchor them upon this planet. You, as a species, are being manipulated within a multitude of realities. It is your task to figure out how many realities you exist within. So, this is an interesting point. Um, People can really forget that we are multidimensional beings. Um, the physical aspect of our reality is so strong and so prominent that we can forget about other dimensions of our own reality. And this is a way that we get lost, identifying with the body. And people who say, I am the body, become lost and they don't know their full self because the full self is in dimensions that go beyond the physical dimension. And I think they're trying to remind us of this fact. And there's so many people that are unaware of it. And they say it's your task to figure out how many realities you exist within because we're being manipulated within a multitude of realities. That's interesting. Okay. So, this is the last thing I want to read in the chapter, and then we'll have maybe a little summary and discussion portion. The Pleiadians say, all of this is to be felt. Allow your brain cells to click into being without your rational conscious mind wanting to define things down to the most minute detail. This experience involves raising a feeling inside yourself, and then one day, at one moment, in one afternoon, having an overwhelming sense of knowing, having a composition 1,000 pages long come alive in 5 seconds of divine ecstasy. So the now here's what I think about this. The feeling state for me, the way I understand it and the way I know it, is really flowing strongly through the heart chakra. And the heart chakra is the source of wisdom. And if you really want wisdom, you need to look inside, especially around the heart chakra, where we have feelings. And the Pleiadians have said on several occasions how important feelings are and how we need to pay attention to them. Um, I believe this is very, very true. I've heard a lot growing up about don't worry about feelings. You know, a real man doesn't cry. Um, love is only between a man and a woman, and you know, stuff like that. I mean, and by saying that, I mean people have an idea that love should be limited when in fact it's a universal energy and it can't be limited. And we do get a feeling sense with love too, right? We get a feeling. It's not just a feeling though. It's a state of being. It's an energy. And so we gotta throw out limiting ideas and access our feeling states. And I really like this. I think my point here is that this one sentence right here, this experience involves raising a feeling inside yourself, and then one day, at one moment, having an overwhelming sense of knowing. For me, I think they're describing the moment of a spiritual awakening. That's the way I see this sentence reading. So, that concludes chapter 4, Memories in the Free Will Zone. I read parts of the chapter that I thought were important. I did not read everything. Um, so we can open this to discussion. Jaya, if you'd like to
Yeah,
say
we
something.
can open that to discussion, James. It
Sure,
is
if you
hard to write a summary of this
want to
chapter.
summarize, and we can go through some points if people have questions.
Yeah. So we are asking if anybody has questions.
So if you have questions, there's only on the Zoom meeting, we've only got Shital with us and our host. So I guess we've only got a couple of people who could ask questions,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, people who tune in on YouTube can't ask questions, as far as I know.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if there are no questions, then Jaya, if you want to do a summary, how you see things.
Yeah. So I think I wrote few key points. So Earth is a free will zone. So they say that the space where beings can create their own realities and make their own choices. This freedom is both a gift and a challenge. And Pleiadians say that the freedom allows for growth and evolution. It also leaves humanity vulnerable to manipulation and control by external forces. And Pleiadians again emphasize that humanity once had access to expansive cosmic knowledge and memories of its origins, but this awareness was suppressed by external powers. These powers like manipulated DNA to limit their spiritual and mental capabilities, keeping them disconnected from their higher consciousness and divine potential. Pleiadians also revealed that humans originally had 12 strands of DNA, which allowed for full access to higher realms of existence. However, these strands were reduced to two. And so Pleiadians say the process of awakening involves reconnecting to the knowledge and memories that were once suppressed. This can be achieved through intention, love, and focus on higher consciousness. Also, Pleiadians emphasize the importance of personal responsibility in this awakening, as each individual choices shape their own reality. So, the free will is highlighted as critical aspect of human existence. It is the ability to make choices, but it also carries the responsibility to choose wisely. So human beings are encouraged to use their free will to break free from external control and reclaim the power. So those are the summary points I wrote.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Did you have any questions as you read the chapter? Did you read anything that you thought sounded kind of strange that you thought you might want to ask a question about?
Yeah, some parts of this book are like for me also just like a little hard to understand. I had to read several times. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So, but I didn't write down my questions or anything.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Um, I'll just say one thing. I love this question that they bring up, and I dwelt on it. Do you love yourself?
Okay. Yeah.
I think people really need to find themselves. So many people walk around with problems. Like people are depressed, right? Why
Mhm,
are you depressed? Depression is like a symptom of not loving yourself, right?
mhm,
Projecting your problems outward, not looking inward to the source. And it's a big problem. It's a really big health problem because people who are depressed, they can't function normally if it's severe. They can't hold down a job. They may have other health problems in addition to the depression, because when a person is depressed, they are in a state that seems like you're trapped and you can't get out of it, and there's nothing you can do, and there's no hope. Um, and it springs from being completely unaware of reality. You have an idea of reality that's completely different from what reality is, but you believe this idea. And by believing it, it leads you down a spiral,
mhm,
right? And you forget that you are love, and that when you love yourself, it amplifies this energy that you are. Um, and so I just want to say that I hope everyone can ask this question to themselves. Do you love yourself? And really stay with that, because I think anyone who sits with this question for long enough will experience a spiritual awakening. This is a very powerful question. Do you love yourself? Um, I think it could be a trigger for a spiritual awakening for some people. So maybe that's where I'll end today's discussion, unless you have anything else you want to add.
and that's very well said, James. Yes, we are the creators of everything. We are what we think. So, yeah.
Right. So I think what we'll do is we'll meet again on January 8th. The next two Wednesdays are holidays, so we will not meet on the next two Wednesdays, but we'll plan to meet again for a discussion of chapter 5 on January 8th. Okay?